Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling, and should we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today, where we'll be relaxing as per usual. Been a little bit busier day than I expected. Again, I'm being a little bit cagey about it, stuff going on, which is ends up being more of a larger project than anticipated, but you know, it's still sort of fun. At the same time, and I will need to check in, see exactly what's going on. But hello everyone, right now in Fawnhallow at 6:32 p.m. on Saturday, November 23rd, 2024. Before season, last episodes of Arcane, or of like Arcane out like forever, right? Because season 2 is the end, at least of Piltover and Zorn's story, which is good because I feel like definitely we explored a lot of it, and I'm excited to see them have a take on other regions in Runeterra. Which one am I looking forward to most? Shadow Isles, probably. Shadow Isles is very, very cool. But also Bandle City could be a lot of fun as well. But anyway, I know they had Bandle Adventure or whatever it's called. Ooh, a little owl. What possible announcement could we have? Turkey Day, which would be like a Thanksgiving soonish. I don't celebrate it because it's not a British holiday, but nonetheless. Yeah, I don't really know what I'm going to talk about today. Have I already done my Neopet dailies? I might have already done them. I've already done all of them, I guess. I don't even remember what happened during them. I've already done the Elaborate. That's how I know I've done everything. Is if I try and choose Elaborate and there's nothing else. I can only do it once a day. I'm very close though to getting all my dream Neopets. Not quite from as a child, because some of them have been added in since, but recently I made a grey Piafin, and the only two I have left are a mutant cow and a robot Borry, and everything else will just sort of be incidental, which would be a whole 14 different pets. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of them, yes, and I have one lab rat. That's going on Neopets, making good progress there. Shiny colours, what's going on? I was meant to do some more shiny colours, whatchamacallit? True Ends, because a new banner came out a couple of days ago, I think, which features the team, or one of the teams I want to play, which is Visual Astromelia. It's got a Visual Tenka, and it looks like I'm going all the way to Hard Pity for this one. I pulled the other banner character like 3 times, of Antica. I don't play that team. But it happens. It happens. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. I don't know what we're here to talk about, to be honest. Again, I'm not really sure. I'm sort of just talking around in circles until I can find a conversational foothold to really latch onto. But as of right now, it's a bit sort of ambiguous. Yeah, I don't know. Because I want to talk about this other thing I spent most of today doing. Oh my gosh, where's my drawing tablet so like wonky? It's definitely a sort of thing where my drawing tablet arm, I can definitely see it's becoming more and more crooked each day, and I'm sure part of the reason is because of the fact that the monitor arm it's on is basically always constantly 24/7 leaning to the side rather than actually being straight on. Like, I tried to tighten it a bit earlier today. Maybe this part needs to be tightened. I don't know if this part can even be tightened, to be honest, but oh, it can be tightened here, can't it? I remember when I set that up. Is that okay? That's okay. I don't know. At some point, maybe I'll go back to using the actual physical stand rather than the monitor stand again. The monitor stand is okay, except for the desk I'm using is not very well suited for it because I had to attach it to a front. So I had to bring it around the monitor boom every single time, and I feel like that's not a great... it's probably a bit of a strain on this monitor arm. So really, if anything, what I would ideally like to do is I'd like to... if there's not enough of a lip though on my desk, is a problem. And I see you can use wooden blocks to make a bigger lip. Maybe I do that. I'm gonna attach it to the left side, and then I put this monitor on the right instead. But I don't know. I don't like drawing on this side. Well, maybe that'd be better. I don't know. I think probably what I'll do is if this monitor arm, if I can't fix it, I mean it's not broken really. It's just sort of like slightly tilting to the side. Not too much, mind you. It is kind of sort of just like resting its own weight on there. If anything, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe what I should do is I should put something on the other side of it to hold it up when it's not like that. Because I can't imagine this sort of There's lateral strain. Like if we think about the force diagram we used to draw back in physics, it's got like a rotational thing here. And we have like a, what's it called? We have like the weight is here. I think the weight is here. The fulcrum and the reaction, I suppose, are both on this side. So it's like a what's it called? Like lever, seesaw. There's like different types depending on where the fulcrum, the load, and something is. It's like force, load, fulcrum. Oh yeah, types of levers. That's it. Is that right? Types of levers. First and second and third class levers. Like the first one is a seesaw. No, maybe. Yeah, first one is a seesaw. The second one is like a, I don't know what you call it, like a wheelbarrow. And the third one is I don't even know what the third one would be. What would you describe a third one as? Like a trebuchet? So right now I guess what we have is I guess we have a trebuchet. Does that make sense? No, because the weight is here in the middle. The fulcrum's definitely at the side. But where's the effort? The effort's also kind of in the middle though. I don't really know. My physics is failing me. I would guess that the effort is slightly in between. So I think it's probably more of a trebuchet than it is. So it's a type 3 lever, probably. Sorry. I don't know why I'm talking about this. But we're having physics lessons, I guess. I don't know, because I remember reading about this when I was very young, because I was a very cool kid who read these like information books when I was younger, rather than, well, I mean, I read a bit. I actually read quite a lot when I was younger. No, let's not discredit myself. But one of the things I did read were these like DK books, I think they were called, which had like a lot of information about lots of different types of things. And one of them, I think, it was either this one or it was one of those CGP, not CGP grade. Oh, what are they called? The cool kids study guide, UK cool kids study guide. What's it called? People know what I'm talking about. It has a guy with his sunglasses. Oh, UK study book, and they have like, oh, it is CGP, but not CGP grey. Yeah, it might have been one of those UK CGP study guides, which is basically like the backbone, I suppose, for anyone studying back in school in the UK. Maybe not just limited to UK, to be honest, I don't know. But they'd have like these guys with like cool sunglasses on who would make like bad jokes on each page or something to help you remember it. I don't know. I think they were like, people liked them, to be honest. I liked them. Certainly. I would never disparage them. But what was the point of all this? I don't know what the point was. The point was that I didn't have a point. The point was, oh yeah, about these mechanical levers. I don't know. Like I feel like I first discovered them while reading that book and was like, whoa, that's kind of interesting. Because in my mind, I guess what made it kind of interesting was the fact that it sounds so silly to say, I suppose, but the positioning of the three relevant to each other gives you a really different sort of intuitive feel of what it should be like, right? Like if you imagine like a fulcrum, and then you just put like, oh, if you say like weight and load, I think most people immediately go, just seesaw. Fulcrum in the middle, weight, load, either side. But then it's like more interesting also to think about it the other way, like, oh, you know, what happens when the load's in the middle? Oh, then it's a bit like a wheelbarrow. That's like weird, isn't it? And the fact that the effort has to reverse direction. Like, I know it's so obvious because it's so intuitive to, you know, if you do it, like if I told you to lift a wheelbarrow, you'd be like, okay, of course I'm going to grab the handles and pull it upwards rather than push it into the ground to try and get it upwards. But isn't it kind of weird that on a seesaw you had to push it into the ground to lift the thing up on the other side? It's not weird because it's so like intuitive physics, but like if you really sit down and think about it, you're like, isn't that a bit strange? It's not, but it is. Does that make sense? I don't think this makes any sense, but it feels like it should be strange is what I mean. Like it feels like there's a strangeness to it, how just a simple switching of their positions can lead to such a difference, you know? You get what I'm getting at? Do I get what I'm getting at? I don't know if I get what I'm getting at. But the whole long and short of it is the fact that it's very interesting how just a small change in this sort of thing can lead to a whole different like dynamic, I suppose, of interacting with it. But I guess that's what I mean to say. The mechanics of you interacting with an object, with this object, is dependent on where the weight, the fulcrum, the lever, etc., etc., etc. is. But it's fascinating how such a difference emerges from just switching the two around. So much so that you had to reverse the entire direction. And I cannot stress enough that, of course, this is so obvious. Like, you could give it to people and people would instinctively do it one way or another. But the point I'm trying to make here is, like, isn't it strange it is that way at all? You know? Like, why is it that way at all? And that's just, like, the way of nature of physics works. But if you didn't have, like, this knowledge, intuitive understanding of physics, like, if you were an alien come to this planet with completely different sort of set of laws, you'd be like, oh, that's a bit strange, isn't it? Or maybe you wouldn't. I don't really know. You might find it, like, completely normal, to be perfectly honest, and you might just be like, oh, okay. That's just like a wholly reasonable thing which can happen. But anyway, types of levers, I guess, is where I'm going with this. Which is, I mean, I'm not going very far with it. I don't really have anything else to sort of build upon this concept of other types of levers, but let's see. Wikipedia types of levers. Simple machines, you know, and all that sort of good stuff. Force and levers. Yeah, types of levers. Class 1, Class 2, Class 3. What's your favourite of all of them? I'm kind of partial to Class 2 lever, I think. I think that's one of the cooler ones. A wheelbarrow. But I'm remembering all these like physics lessons I had when I was younger to sort of like get this intuitive concept down. Like I remember one of them was like teaching about, you know, the distance from the fulcrum means like how it can change, not how it changes a force, how easy. Well, okay, maybe I'll describe a situation where it's basically like she got like two classmates to stand up and she said like, okay, you know, let's say about Alice and Bob. Alice, you stand on the inside and you want to stop Bob from coming into the classroom. Now what we're going to do is we're going to have Alice, you put your hands near the hinge of the door, not that near the hinge because, you know, even at the time she was like, just be careful that your fingers don't get trapped. And Bob, you can like push on the handle and then you'll see how easy it is for Bob to like push the door and he can come in. But then it was like, okay, now you switch positions. Bob, you try pushing from a hinge, and then Alice, you push from a handle. And then it was like, Alice just like stops Bob from coming in. And, you know, when you're younger, when you were in like reception or whatever, when this was being, or year 1 maybe, when this was being taught to us, we're just like, whoa, that's crazy. If you want to stop someone from coming into the door, you have to push away from a handle. No, at the handle, away from a hinge. It's all about moments, isn't it? Rotation. It's all about rotation. Because of course, if you're putting just like a lateral object, not a fixed at one point, it would just be whoever has the strongest force until it, you know, starts rotating. But, you know, let's simplify the problem. But then when you put a rotational thing on it, like it's about rotational movement. Force times distance. Moments. And that determines angular movement. Right? Rotational physics, something like that. Which I have only the vaguest memories of. Back in school time. Learning bits and pieces here and there about them. Or about it. But yeah, I don't know. Isn't it just fun that we have like these types of lever classifications? You might be like, why don't we have more types of lever classifications actually? If you have 3 things you can put down, you might be like combinatorically. You know, shouldn't that mean we have 6 types of levers, right? Well, it turns out that 2 of them are mirror images of each other, so that's why. That's my short. There I can step in. Combinatorics. Well, not major, but studied a lot of combinatorics. I know. That's how it goes. Because these are much more uniquely defined by the thing in the center rather than thing on either side. Because if you think about it, if you affix a thing in the center, then it doesn't matter what the other 2 things are either side. If you rotate it around the center, it'll be a mirror image of each other, which is exactly the same mechanically, just flipped. So really, from that, you can more intuitively understand, perhaps, a thing which uniquely defines these types of levers are whichever one's sitting in the center. And isn't that fascinating? That's another thing. See, maths and science, they can be immensely fascinating, I think. You don't have to necessarily, I suppose, find them as fascinating on the same level that mathematicians and scientists do, but I think having appreciation, being able to have an appreciation for why people could or would find it interesting, I think that's a sort of like open-mindedness, which is good, you know? That kind of goes for most things, to be honest. You don't have to like something, but you can, in most cases, I feel like it's very conducive if you can sort of imagine why someone might like it, you know? That's kind of what it's all about. Well, not really, but it's kind of what a lot of it is about. Yeah, so anyway, we have types of levers, which is honestly a bit of a strange Animal Crossing conversation topic today, but so be it. If you want to read about it more, there's a whole Wikipedia thing. They give you examples. First class lever, like your skull and your spine. Second class lever, like your ankle. Oh, I guess so. Right, okay. And third class levers like your bicep. Interesting. Never thought about them mechanically. That could be like a good way to get kids learning about it. It's like, can you demonstrate all 3 types of levers using the way your body moves? That sounds like some challenging like 6-mark question that you might find on a test, and people would just be like, "What the heck is this?" Actually, it probably wouldn't be a 6-mark question because there's not really much you can expand upon it. It would just be giving examples. But you can absolutely see that they often have these on tests, at least in the UK, like schools. Back in GCSE times, is that they would have like the last questions be ones which are meant to sort of be the ones which reveal, oh, is this person like A-star worthy or not? So they'll ask something which is not necessarily really covered. Well, it is covered by the curriculum, but it's something which is like such a fringe case, or so very rarely, or you have to think very laterally. Not laterally, but you have to think and really understand the material to be able to answer it. Because I remember one of them in one of the years I did it was something about peat bogs, and I didn't know what peat bogs were. I was like, I don't know, but I can infer from the question what it's trying to get me to say. It was talking about like trapping carbon dioxide or something in peat bogs is all I remember. Okay, well, I should say it's not that I didn't know what peat bogs were. It's like I knew nothing about peat bogs, and I was like, ooh, I don't know. I can't remember even what the question was anymore. Maybe someone can find it, but that might not have even been the actual. That might have just been our mocks. Anyway, long and short of it, mechanical levers. There's a lot of types of that out there. We love some simple machines. Thanks, Archimedes. And on that note, we're going to round this episode off here. So, if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons, and I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.